Having of necessity had to replace our car with a smaller one recently, I've had no choice other than to do something radical with this layout, Nettlebed Lime, and that has been to chop it in half because we couldn't fit it in the car anymore. Now, I've had to do this as carefully as possible, as surgically as possible, but the chopping bit has actually now been completed and I've made it good, and hopefully even the wall as well is now sorted, and it's all neat and tidy. It's held together now with a couple of M10 bolts, but in order to help align it and take the pressure off the bolts and all the rest, I'm using these two blocks, one at the front, one at the back, and I'm used to calling these split battens, but they're also, I think, known as French cleats. These are glued on, and there's a corresponding aperture cut in this board. I've used an angle of 30 degrees. More commonly, they're cut to about 45 degrees. But the idea is this board will now sit on that, and because of the angle, first of all, it won't pull off easily, but also the angle helps this board settle as closely to this one as possible, and therefore the two bolts are just holding it rather than doing the major alignment work. That's the principle of it. Now, if you bear with me, I will just actually, whoops-a-daisy, I will just actually put the thing in place. So let me plonk that there while I do the operation so you can see it in real time. Single-handed. That's on the front cleat, and I'll just put it on the back cleat. There we go. And then it just wants a couple of bolts, which I won't do at the moment. But effectively, that's it, aligned and all the rest. And you can see that's pretty reasonable. Now, before I chopped it in half, it used to sit on two trestles. One trestle about here and the other trestle about there. Now, two trestles, of course, won't do anymore when there's only two boards, and it's just not good practice. I may use one trestle here, but I need it on legs for the rest. I don't want a third trestle because I can't fit three trestles in the car. So I propose using tube, this heavy tube. It's 27mm steel, thick-walled steel. This is what I used for Denton Brook, and it was fine for Denton Brook. And I will use a pair of legs at the end of this first board here, and another pair to support the bridge end here. On Denton Brook, I welded up some sockets, which suited me fine. But on this one, I thought, well, I can print some sockets. And I know enough about what I'm doing to be confident about how they'll work. Now, I've fitted two sockets already. I know it's dark in here. Let me see if I can do something about here we go. Now, this is one, the other's on the near side. They're in PLA, hand for scale, tube diameter. They're open topped. They're bolted right through with M6s. You're not really seeing the detail I want you to see, but it's a heavy wall section. PLA is actually quite strong stuff. You can see what we're getting at there. So it's a heavy wall section. It's reinforced top, middle and bottom. So the tube section, which is gusseted to the back plate all the way down, so there's plenty of material. That's really not going, that's not going to go anywhere at all. Why is it open top? Partly because there would be a tendency, if that was a closed top, even if it had a 10mm, say, plug in there, there would be a tendency for the tube to punch out the top if I was relying on that. Incidentally, the bottom of this runs underneath, so it's sat underneath the timber work, if that makes any sense at all. So the tube runs up through there, open top, and the tube will have its own collar, about 60mm long collar, and there'll be a flange on that collar, and that'll be bonded to the tube, and the printed collar, which is again thick wall with a good thick flange, will bear up against the underside of that. So there's plenty of surface area absolutely everywhere, and that'll do all the load bearing, and that's going to do the job there. It'll be a friction fit into all of those, which I know what I'm going to do. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm actually going to use a small build-up of tape just to get a friction fit in there, so I can slide it in and out and it won't drop out. But I'm not too worried about that at all. That'll be fine. So there's two of these bolted on there, and there'll be another pair halfway down. It's just an interesting, slightly different approach, born of absolute necessity, because I'd never intended chopping this flipping thing in half, and it needs a completely different approach. So there we are. That's the latest saga of Denton Brook and having to transport it in a smaller vehicle, and what we're doing to get away with it, for want of a better word.